First up, though, we understand that is going to be the defense in mitigating of sentence. What could now the defense really be trying to do at this stage ahead of the sentencing? What will be their main thrust of their argument, you think?
I think the main arguments that the defense will have to put up is to say, first of all, that Oscar has been remorseful throughout the trial. And I'm sure you've seen all the clips of Oscar crying and gagging and all that to show that as much as he committed this particular crime, it was not something he intended to do, and he's actually remorseful and sorry. And I'm sure you've seen in other cases where some people who've been convicted have shown no remorse at all, have been sentenced to very harsh terms because of their demeanor during the court. So I think the first port of call for defense would be to show that he is very remorseful, and secondly, that he's actually a law-abiding citizen and that this is a first-time offender.
Well, another issue possibly, could it be around vulnerability as a person who's disabled that must be taken into consideration or not?
Yes, definitely. In criminal law, you've got what you call the Zinn triad, whereby you consider the nature of the crime, you consider the criminal, and you consider society. So with regards to his vulnerability, it will go to when you look at the criminal himself and say that how will he cope when he is in prison? Because what the courts do these days is that they balance between reform and retribution. Whereas in the 80s, you'd have retribution being the main aspect of punishment. But now what the courts do is that they want to make sure that as much as this person is punished, they must also be reformed when they're still there. So his vulnerability will speak a lot to that, to say that as much as he has been remorseful, will he survive the conditions if he goes to prison?
And prosecution, what will their points be ahead of the sentencing? Will they still be trying to convince the judge to go for a maximum possible sentence?
Yes. I think most definitely. I think we saw in the last arguments for bail when Herinel came out guns blazing against giving Oscar actually a bail, because what's going to happen is that they're going to have aggravating arguments against why Oscar should actually go to jail for the maximum. And we saw the first salvo being given by Herinel when he told us about what Oscar did when he was out on bail on that event when he went to the nightclub. So I think for now we're definitely sure that Herinel will go guns blazing for the maximum, even 15 years in prison for Oscar Pistorius.
Is that a maximum for culpable homicide by law, or is that has been the practice in South Africa that 15 years has been given as a maximum sentence for culpable homicide in the past?
Yeah, for culpable homicide, actually, it's at the court's discretion. But we have seen in some cases over the past whereby some individuals have been sent to prison for 15 years. But I think because of the nature of this case and the remorse that Oscar has had and some of the facts that have been brought to the court, I think we might even have a non-custodial sentence being given to Oscar Pistorius. I doubt very much that the judge will actually give him the 15 years, as many courts have actually alluded to.